We know that under the stars and stripes we have more freedom than do civilized people on earth. Our freedom stems from the fact that America is a republic, founded on a constitution, and dedicated to the principle of democracy and the worth of the individual. The people rule.
Our economic system is based on three major principles: private ownership of property, the profit motive, and the competitive open market.
Yes, those are the three great pillars. Our system is morally right. It provides economic freedom and great incentives for development, and its production of goods is unmatched in all human history. This brings us to the central question.
And our final task, in fact, is to make sure that opportunity is available to all Americans. You know, the bedrock of our economic success is the American dream. It's a dream shared in big cities and small towns across races, regions, and religions, that if you work hard, you can support a family. That if you get sick, there will be health care that you can afford. That you can retire. That you can retire with the dignity and security and respect that you've earned. That your children can get a good education and young people can go to college even if they don't come from a wealthy family. That's our common hope. That's our common hope across this country. That's the essence of the American dream. But today, for far too many Americans, this dream is slipping away.
The best-selling book, Stupid Black Men, How to Play the Race Card and Lose.
I agree with every word you said. My book makes the following arguments. The Civil Rights War is over. The good guys won. That white racism is no longer a major problem in America. Indeed, the very double standard, the fear of being perceived as being racist is probably an even bigger problem. And there are a lot of special interests and one major political party, the Democratic Party, that needs blacks to believe that race and racism are a major problem because they want that 90-95% monolithic black vote without which they cannot win.
Did not affect everyone in the same way. The Great Recession did not affect everyone in the same way. A new report shows that the wealth gap between whites, blacks, and Hispanics are the widest they've been since the government started keeping track 25 years ago.
In 1995, the median white household had a net worth 7 times that of black and Hispanic families. A new study of census data finds the wealth gap has become a chasm. White households are now worth 20 times that of blacks and 18 times more than Hispanics. The median white household is worth $113,000, Hispanics about $6,000, and blacks about $5,700.
Wealth begets wealth, and what we're doing is we're starting from a low base with a lot of African-American families. So they've got to make up. They've got to get ahead of that. They've got to get ahead of their debt, and they've got to get into a place where they're building wealth. What's the best way to do that?
Business ownership, absolutely. Wealth does beget wealth, but I think a wealth of knowledge can take you to wealth in terms of finances. And that begins with building a business with the knowledge that you have, which is why I'm encouraging people to become hybrid entrepreneurs, which is when you have a full-time job and a part-time business on the side.
My very first venture was called Tyler Technical Consulting. I have an IT background, so I was doing consulting work, LAN, WAN, infrastructure, work, installing routers. I was Microsoft certified, Cisco certified, and pretty much how I got funding from that is pretty much to this day the same way I pretty much get funding. It was through like doing 9-to-5 work, you know, working a career job and using that money. Like my family didn't have a trust fund that I could dip into, or I didn't have any rich aunts or uncles, anybody that I could you know, get capital from. So you know, I mean, I worked for it. I worked for the money I needed to start up my businesses, and went from there.
Whatever it takes, work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, pawn your wedding ring, sell your car, sleep on the couch kind of stuff. Because number one, we don't want to be told no, or that we're not viable because we're not what you consider a good financial risk. And so many times we'll find a way to fund it ourselves for that reason. And number two, we're really independent. We don't want to have to come to you and say, can we? will you. We don't really want to have to ask for permission to succeed.
Originally, when starting this company, I invested about $20,000 into this. I had back home in Michigan, I had a lawsuit with the police department of Kalamazoo, Michigan. Out of that lawsuit, I invested about $20,000 into this company. Originally, with that being said, we used money to incorporate ourselves. We retained a lawyer, created a basis for contract agreements. We reached out to a top marketing firm within the
SBA loan for that. You know, we were actually certified as a minority business in the state of Maryland and did work. But, you know, there's still something I think to be said for pulling in investment money or pulling in money from other sources besides loans, and not having like the loan hanging over your head, you know, every month, and trying to really grow a business and succeed in business without that extra burden on top of you. So I mean, you know, with that one business we did do it that way, but most of the other businesses, it just was, like I said, kind of sweat equity. You know, me putting myself into the business and me raising funds that I kind of work for on my own.
To get in here to make the Horn Brothers a business, we didn't start out taking out loans. You know, we go back to the idea that we just worked a job and used that money to invest in the business, as whether it was equipment, computers, software. Then then we got another job and we used that money to do other things. And so for a long time we didn't pay ourselves personally. It was everything was going into the business, and so that was just a way that I think that helped us grow an appreciation for our business, and you know, just some character in us. But you know, no, we didn't outright just go out and get loans to start out. We worked first and then you know, built it up that way.
Versus my personal growth, and I started to look at all the things that I needed to do and needed to focus on. And just like I put time and energy into growing as a professional, I had to put time and energy into growing as a person. And so now my entrepreneur endeavor really centers around that personal growth and development aspect. And at the root of it is passion. So in the beginning, you know, I took a job for survival. I started my business for success. And now where I am is that community enrichment portion of my life. And I think this is where I've gotten into, this is my purpose, this is my calling.
Because of, you know, I always tell this story when me and Byron were like, you know, 13, 14 years old. Byron had this big dream of this company, had different levels of departments, you know, had a photography department, a screenwriting department, a video, I mean, he had all these things, and that's basically what we do today, you know. And you know, Tyson has always been artistic, like, you know, as far as I could know. So it's like, as a younger brother, I always looked up to want to do what they were doing, you know, and be better at than them.